Detachment is often misunderstood. People hear the word and think it means apathy, as if to detach is to stop caring. But true detachment isn't indifference. It's clarity. It's the ability to care deeply without clinging, to love without losing yourself, to give without needing control over the outcome. Most suffering in human relationships comes from attachment. The belief that if we hold tight enough, we can make things stay the same. But nothing in life is meant to stay. Everything we love, people, moments, feelings, is borrowed. And the more we fight that truth, the more pain we create. Emotional intelligence begins where attachment ends. It's the ability to see that love and freedom are not opposites. They're partners. The moment you stop trying to possess, you begin to truly connect. Because what we cling to, we suffocate. And what we release, we can finally experience fully. Detachment doesn't mean you stop feeling. It means you stop identifying with every feeling. You start observing emotions instead of becoming them. You learn to let sadness move through you instead of defining you. You recognize that pain is part of love, not proof that something's broken. Emotionally intelligent people understand this instinctively. They don't run from emotion. They respect it. They know when to hold space and when to step back. They understand that peace doesn't come from fixing people. It comes from accepting them. They see that control disguised as care is still control. The psychology of detachment is built on awareness. When you detach, you see patterns you couldn't before. You notice how much energy you waste trying to change what's not yours to change. You see how often your desire to help comes from fear. Fear of loss, fear of rejection, fear of not being enough. And once you see that, you stop mistaking attachment for love. Love says, I want what's best for you. Attachment says, I want you to make me feel safe. Love is freedom. Attachment is fear. One strengthens the heart. The other drains it. The emotionally intelligent person practices non-attachment not as coldness, but as compassion. They know that everyone is walking their own path. They can stand beside someone in pain without absorbing it, listen without trying to fix, and let people grow without guilt. Because they understand that every soul learns through its own rhythm. Detachment becomes powerful when it meets compassion. Without compassion, detachment can feel distant. Without detachment, compassion becomes heavy. Together, they create balance. Love with boundaries, empathy without exhaustion. Many confuse detachment with avoidance, but they're opposites. Avoidance runs from emotion. Detachment faces it without fear. Avoidance numbs. Detachment understands. Avoidance escapes. Detachment accepts. True detachment doesn't close the heart. It opens it wider because love without need is the purest form of love. The path to detachment often begins with heartbreak. When you've cared so much that it nearly destroyed you, you start learning how to love without losing yourself. You realize that peace isn't found in holding tighter. It's found in letting things be what they are. That's when wisdom replaces desperation. You no longer need everything to last. You just want it to mean something while it does. Detachment is also about boundaries. It's understanding where your responsibility ends and someone else's begins. It's knowing that empathy without limits becomes self-destruction. Because if you don't protect your peace, your compassion will collapse under the weight of other people's pain. So the emotionally intelligent learn to detach, not to disconnect, but to remain whole. In a world that glorifies intensity, detachment feels radical. People mistake stillness for indifference, silence for weakness, and calmness for lack of care. But peace is not passivity. It's the highest form of awareness. It's what happens when you stop fighting the flow of life and start trusting it. When you detach, you begin to see clearly. You see how your happiness doesn't have to depend on someone else's behavior. You realize that letting go doesn't end love. It just ends illusion. Because love that requires control isn't love. It's fear wearing affection as a mask. The mature heart knows this. You can care without clinging. You can love without owning. You can let go without bitterness. Because the goal of love isn't permanence. It's presence. Detachment is an act of faith in life and timing in yourself. It's saying, I trust that whatever leaves is no longer meant for me, and whatever stays will meet me where I am. It's learning to stay open even when things fall apart. It's choosing peace over possession. So how do you practice it? You start by noticing when your caring turns into controlling, when your help becomes rescuing, when your support becomes sacrifice. That's where attachment hides. And every time you choose space instead of control, you reclaim a piece of your peace. Eventually, detachment becomes your natural state. Not because you stop loving, but because you start loving with understanding, because you realize that the world doesn't need your grip. It needs your grace. And when you master that balance, life begins to flow through you effortlessly. That's the quiet beauty of detachment. You stop chasing what you want and start aligning with what's real. You stop clinging to people and start connecting to truth. And you learn that letting go isn't losing. It's returning to yourself.